I don't even know where to begin. I really don't. Absolute craziness, man. You know, this is life. Some days you think you're gonna see somebody, and the next day that could be the last day you ever see them again. And I thought this, it's like they say, everybody eventually ends up succumbing to death. And eventually, like they all say, all good things do come to an end. All great people do end up passing away. It's just really shocking with the news that just broke out because it was just so unexpected and it just came out of left field. And at first, I didn't believe it, but then, you know, I saw Geekdom's 101 video about Akira Toriyama tragically passing away. And man, that it hits, man, it hits. So, yeah, sadly, Akira Toriyama has sadly, tragically passed away. And man, it's very emotional, very sad. The Dragon Ball official account posted it, talking about it, and they just basically said, "Dear friends and partners, we are deeply saddened to inform you that manga creator Akira Toriyama passed away on March 1st due to acute um, subdural hematoma. He was age 68. It's our deep regret that he still had several works in the middle of creation with great enthusiasm. Also, he would have many more things to achieve. However, he has left many manga titles and works of art to this world. Thanks to the support of so many people around the world, he has been able to continue his creative activities for over 45 years. We hope Akira Toriyama's unique world of creation continues to be loved by everyone for a long time to come. We inform you this sad news with gratefulness for your kindness during his lifetime. Funeral service was held with his family and very few relatives. Following his wishes for tranquility, we respectfully inform you that we would not accept flowers, condolences, gifts, visiting offerings, and others. Also, we ask you to refrain from conducting interviews with his family. Future plan for commemorative gathering is not decided. We will let you know when it's confirmed. We deeply thank you for your understanding and support as always. That was what the official Dragon Ball Twitter account said. Um, yeah. Um, Eventually, this day was going to happen where he was going to pass on and he was going to pass away. I think the thing that's just shocking is the fact that, people didn't expect it to be now. And that's usually the thing with these very famous people. You know, it's just absolutely sad, absolutely emotionally heartbreaking. This man touched a lot of people's lives. He touched a lot of people's lives, not only in Japan, but out here in the West. He touched a lot of people's lives with all the multiple series, not just Dragon Ball. Dr. Slump, Dragon Quest, Sandland, which that game's coming out soon. A bunch of series, a bunch of titles. But obviously, people synonymously know him for his work on Dragon Ball. And if that was the thing, it was a series that was a lot of people's childhoods. That was their thing they grew up on. That was the thing that got them into the world of other mangas and animes on top of it. Dragon Ball was the anime that started basically all these other animes and all these other mangas, like your One Pieces, your Bleaches, My Hero Academia's, Demon Slayer, Naruto's. You know, you can go look at all the authors of all those individual series, and 9 out of 10 times the reason why they started their series had something to do with Akira Toriyama. You know, Akira Toriyama played an important role in those other authors of those other manga series lives. And then when you think about the fans, this man made basically one of the best stories, one of the best series in manga and anime history. You know, obviously people put it up for debate if it's the best of all time. And listen, I'm not going to do that because that would be disrespectful at this current point in time. But at the end of the day, Dragon Ball is one of the best, not just the best, one of the greatest animes and mangas of all time in the history of mangas and animes. And it's crazy, man. It's crazy. You know, 68 is old, but it still also feels fairly young. You know, it's just crazy. You know, Dragon Ball left a very big impact on my life. This channel would not be here today about me talking about the various other animes I talk about on this channel if not for Dragon Ball. I do Dragon Ball Super manga chapters reviews. I reviewed the last few movies the past few years, you know? And yes, Dragon Ball isn't perfect. It wasn't, nor was it a perfect series, but I'd be lying to say that at the end of the day, I didn't enjoy every bit of it. Through the good times and through the bad times. Dragon Ball inspired me, had an impact on my life, you know? When I was getting into the anime scene in terms of watching animes and things like that, the very first anime I ever laid my eyes on was technically Pokemon, but my mom told me to stop watching that, so I didn't really watch it too deep. But my really true locked in anime I watched from start to finish was Dragon Ball. Now I watched Dragon Ball Z Kai back on Nicktoons, and I remember watching it and being entrenched in it. And I watched all the episodes from the Saiyan saga on to the frickin' Cell saga at the time until they released the final chapters for the Boost saga. But eventually I ended up tuning into Dragon Ball Z and then playing the games and a bunch of other stuff. And Dragon Ball just affected my life where it became one of my favorite animes, if not my favorite anime of all time. The characters that Akira Toriyama created in Goku, Vegeta, Gohan, Trunks, Piccolo, all those characters, the stories in them in that series was absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. And that shaped, and just watching Dragon Ball Z Kai led me to watching a whole bunch of different animes like your Bleaches, your Demon Slayers, your My Heroes. I haven't got to Naruto, One Piece, all the various animes I watched today. You know, it started because I started watching Dragon Ball. And if not for Dragon Ball, if not for Akira Toriyama's work, I wouldn't be watching the shows that I love watching. And it's absolutely heartbreaking to get this revelation because at the end of the day, Dragon Ball did touch my life. It did impact my life. And I understand it's just a TV show, but it inspired a lot of people. It had an effect on a lot of people during their lives, during their teenage years of watching this series. And it still does touch them, you know? He brought the series back after a very long hiatus, with Dragon Ball, Battle of Gods. Then only a few, then coming back with Revival of F, only to do Dragon Ball Super, the series. And the Dragon Ball Revival was crazy. And Dragon Ball's, as of now, has been at its highest. Now, obviously not now, but obviously it's been high. And it's just crazy. I don't know what this lies for the future of Dragon Ball, the series as a whole. Um, I feel like Dragon Ball is still going to continue because they're going to continue out of respect for Toriyama to continue his story, and hopefully they do it the right way. Toritaro is basically the main guy now who was working alongside Toriyama, and things like that with the manga. And you saw his tweet about it. He obviously is very heartbroken and devastated about that. I don't know if we're gonna get the manga chapter coming out this month now. I would not be shocked if, out of respect, Shonen Jump just goes on break, maybe a month or two break, maybe 3 months, you know, and everything. And if they don't, hey, it's fine. But I can honestly see it if maybe the Dragon Ball Super manga chapter, um, which it was leading up to a very hyped chapter, goes on break because of the passing of Akira Toriyama, and they want to do it out of respect. But if they feel like no, the show must go on, hey, I'll be here to review the chapter. But it sucks, man. It sucks. He affected a lot of people in his work with Dragon Ball, and to finally know that he has passed on to the next life, it's very emotional. Um, Again, there's nothing else I can probably say. It hits. It hits hard. It hits hard. Um, yeah. Yeah, like I said, I don't know what the future is for the series, but I know they're going to probably more than likely continue it out of respect for him to honor his legacy and it's crazy because Dragon Ball Daima is probably the last thing Akira Toriyama's ever worked on Dragon Ball related that will be coming out this year. And you damn well know that they're going to definitely do an honor by his name. Um, and if anything, it makes anything Dragon Ball related much must read slash must watch now. And it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy, and eventually it's gonna happen to the many other great authors, of these all these other all these other series. Um, and it's gonna hit just as crazy, So all I gotta say is this, thank you, Akira Toriyama, for everything. Um, Thank you for creating Dragon Ball. Thank you for creating the various series you've created, but especially Dragon Ball. Not for Dragon Ball, I probably wouldn't be here, right now where I am. And I really do appreciate him making a very great series that had a lot of great moments, a lot of emotional moments, and really great characters. And I'm gonna miss, and his work's gonna be missed. His work's going to be missed. Um, I don't think it's going to stop, but his work is definitely going to be missed from what he was drawing. It seemed like he had a lot of more stories left to tell, but sadly, he won't be with us to continue to tell those stories. And then, sincerely, I appreciate him and thank you for everything he's done. Rest in peace, Akira Toriyama. Thank you.